We are Team CyberSAS, a group of 4 8th graders from Rocky Run Middle School in Chantilly, Virginia, and are participating in a program called eCyber Mission. eCyber Mission, a STEM program sponsored by the U.S. Army, challenges participants to come up with a problem in their community and requires them to create an innovative solution. This year, we decided to help the elderly. As part of our research, we found that as per the Population Reference Bureau report of January 2016, called Aging in the United States, the number of people ages 65 and older in the United States has increased steadily since the 1960s, but is projected to more than double, from 46 million today to more than 98 million by 2060. Between 2020 and 2030 alone, the number of older persons is projected to increase by almost 18 million as the last of the large baby boom cohorts reaches age 65. However, fewer children and high divorce rates among the baby boomers mean that more may live alone in old age without either the financial and social support or informal care given provided by a spouse or child. So what was our solution? We decided to help the elderly by designing the Senior Assistive Bundle, which is made of sensors to make an e-home for elderly residents. This bundle presents a cost-effective solution for the seniors to live by themselves while enabling off-site caregivers such as children and loved ones to be informed of the senior's well-being on a daily basis without invading the senior's privacy. It also helps caregiver attend any unexpected emergency in the senior's pattern. We further researched conditions that are common among the elderly. We found that cognitive decline, arthritis, and depression are all prevalent conditions that affect the elderly. Cognitive decline is a condition that affects the senior's memory in multiple levels. We decided that we can only help people with lower levels of this condition because seniors with higher levels must reside in a senior care facility. To address this problem, we made the visitor identification system, which helps the senior identify who is at the door in case they can't remember. Arthritis, the most prevalent condition among the elderly, decreases the senior's range of motion and makes it hard for them to text or type. To counter this condition, we made the quick message system, in which seniors can click one button and send a text message to their caregivers. Depression can be a result of a senior being isolated from the outside world due to their other conditions. To address this, we made the Mindscape system, in which we can virtually transfer seniors to other places. We also made the daily pattern of life system to alert the caregiver in any disruptions to normal patterns. Our first product is the visitor identification system. So with the visitor identification system, the problem that we were trying to tackle was that seniors sometimes have difficulty identifying visitors who come to their homes unannounced. Since cognitive decline affects working memory that results from decline in executive control of the prefrontal cortex, seniors can struggle to remember people who have visited their homes and sometimes open the door for complete strangers. This could worry caregivers not knowing whom the seniors might let into the house. The way we tackled this was that we developed a camera that can identify a visitor through a facial recognition software. Once a facial match was established with one of the entries in a pre-made visitor database, the visitor will be identified. Any pre-existing database recordings and any pictures of that visitor will be displayed in the app to the senior to help with the retrieval process that could be impaired with aging. If the facial recognition software failed to find a match in the database, the app will display a red question mark to alert the senior not to open the door. So here we have an example of how our system works. First, someone will either knock on the door or ring the doorbell. Then, the senior will pull out their smartphone and log on to the SAB app. The SAB app will trigger the Pi camera to take a picture of the person outside. The app will then display two options, need help or got it. If the senior clicks need help because they can't remember who's outside, it will facial recognize the person outside and pull up the video entry in a database that was pre-made. Once the video is played, the senior will hopefully remember who's at the door, and that's what our system aims for. So what's the behind the scenes? How does this actually work? So we created an app called the Senior Assistive Bundle that's next to a Raspberry Pi camera, or called a Pi camera. It is set up so that when the senior clicks on the app, it signals for the Pi camera to take a picture. Here's an image of the Pi camera and the Raspberry Pi. But remember, they're not two separate things. Once we attach them, they become one unit. The picture that the Pi camera takes then pops up on the screen of the senior's phone, and then the app asks them if they know the person or need help remembering. If they click the need help remembering option, then the app runs the face recognition software to identify who's outside. Once the facial recognition software identifies who's outside, it'll match that person up into a database and pull up a video of that person to jog the senior's memory. So what are the steps it takes to set it up in the senior's home? The first thing we have to do is set up the database of all the people that the senior knows. In order to pull up the videos, this includes making the videos and gathering information on the people. We then need to set up the Pi camera in a spot that won't be affected by the weather, but will still get a clear view of the person standing at the door, since the camera has to be connected to the Pi, which is not wireless. So here's the market research, and here's how our product compares to other products on the market. Our SAB product, the Visitor Identification System, is comprised of three components: the Pi camera, Raspberry Pi, and 3D printed weather cover. The Pi camera costs $23, the Raspberry Pi costs $20, and the 3D printed weather cover costs $10. In total, these all cost $50 to $60, and $60 is the maximum, depending on the model of the Raspberry Pi you get. Our competitor product, the Ring Video Doorbell, costs $180 to $200, and its battery life is 6 months to a year.
Our next product is the Daily Pattern of Life system. The problem we were trying to solve was that sometimes when there are no caregivers or loved ones around, senior citizens may face an emergency and no one may know. Our solution was a daily life pattern system. We took advantage of the fact that the daily life pattern indicates the normal routine and when an emergency might disrupt the pattern. Our daily life pattern system uses a motion sensor placed at important doorways of the house to detect activities. If there's no activity detected for a preset interval of time, then a notification will be sent to a caregiver's phone telling them that no activity was detected. This is a visual depiction showing our product. First, on day 1, the senior gets out of bed, goes to the kitchen, and watches TV. On day 2, we see they'll do the exact same thing. However, on day 3, we notice that they break a pattern and there's no activity detected after the kitchen. The PIR motion sensor notices this and sends a notification to the caregiver's phone. This is our data flow diagram. First, we're in the configuration phase. The things needed are caregiver's numbers, times, and the locations of the sensors. The steps are to manually set up, start, and stop the cron, the lambda, and to configure the CloudWatch alert. Linux cron starts the Python program at pre-enter times. The Python program and motion sensor checks for a high signal when detected, and it triggers a green light health status signal. If a signal is not sensed for the set time period, then a red health status signal will be triggered. However, if the green health status signal is triggered, the Python program breaks out and the program ends until the next start cron. In a red health status, an event is triggered in AWS CloudWatch. AWS CloudWatch event triggers Lambda function, which sends a notification to the caregiver using AWS SNS. Then components for our product is the Raspberry Pi Zero W, the power cable, and an SD card, which total to about $25. Next, we need the PIR motion sensor, which is about $10. This totals to an amount of $35. Our main competitor on the market is Silver Mother Smart Care, which sells about 4 motion sensors for $235. That comes to a total cost of $235. Our solution costs much less and is much more affordable, and has a much longer battery life because it's connected to a wall.
Now this is the quick message system. The problem that we tried to tackle with this product was that sometimes it was difficult for the elderly person to use the phone or tablet to type and send messages through the phone to their caregiver. How we tackled it was that we created a system that could send predefined messages with just a click of a button to the caregiver. The process was that we could install any number of IoT buttons at the desired locations in the house. Then, Each button is configured to send a specific message to multiple caregivers or only one. Then, the elderly person presses the desired IoT button to send the desired message. Finally, the caregiver or the caregivers receive the predefined text message. So this is a small animation that we created. If the elderly person presses the first button, the elderly person sending a message to the caregiver saying, "I need help." If the elderly person presses the second button, the elderly person sending a message to the caregiver saying, "I'm feeling a little bit down, so could you call me later?" And if the elderly person presses the third button, the elderly person sending a message to the caregiver saying, "I'm feeling great." So this is the data flow diagram. So first, the elderly person has to press the AWS IoT button. And then it sends the data to pretty much the AWS Lambda, which sends a text message to the amount of caregivers there are. So this is the cost and market research. For one IoT button, it costs about $20. The IoT battery life is about 16 months, and the cost for the AWS Lambda and IoT is negligible. Also, there's no other competitive product to the IoT button in the market today.
Finally, here comes the Mindscape system. The problem is, many seniors whose movements are limited, they become depressed over a certain period of time because they simply can't interact with the environment outside. Since the caregivers do not want the elderly to wander outside by themselves, sometimes it's even harder to enjoy nature for these people. So, our solution is, we were guided to use virtual reality as a possible diversion and a form of entertainment for the elderly. By using inexpensive gadgets such as Google Cardboard, we could display a video of recorded places of interest for the senior. The elderly could watch the video through the Google Cardboard to enjoy the scenery. They could feel like they had a walk in the garden or went scuba diving in the coral reef or even strolling on the beach. How does our system work? First, you scan the QR code which is provided and the app automatically installs. Then, once the app is installed, it opens a screen with multiple categories to choose from, such as beaches, oceans, animals, and much more. When you finalize which category you wish to watch, click on the category. This will take you to a YouTube playlist with 360 VR videos relating to the category of your choice. Then, you choose any video of your choice, or simply press play all. Play all will simply automatically switch videos for you. Next, you click on the Google Cardboard button on the bottom right corner of the video. Finally, you put the phone into the Google Cardboard viewer and enjoy. So this is a animation showing how our idea works. So first, you have a QR code and you scan the QR code which will download an app onto your phone. When you click on the app, it will open multiple categories to choose from, such as animals, beaches, oceans, and forests. And whenever you choose to click on a certain category, for example, I want to click on animals, this will take you to a YouTube playlist with Animal 360 VR videos. So after that, you have to click on a YouTube video. For example, I want to watch Cute Cats VR. So once you click on that, that will take you to a YouTube video with the Google Cardboard button on the bottom right corner. To put the phone into the Google Cardboard viewer mode, you have to click on the Google Cardboard button, and that will put your phone into the mode. Next, you put the phone into the Google Cardboard viewer, and you simply enjoy. How does VR work? For smaller VR players such as Google Cardboard, the video plays from the smartphone, displaying in two different lenses. These lenses focus and reshape the picture for each eye. It also creates a 3D image by angling the two 2D images into mimicking how our eyes see the world. A system called 6DOF plots your head in terms of your X, Y, and Z axis to measure head movements. When you turn your head, the system recognizes the direction it is turning and resizes and moves the scenery as well. For bigger VR players such as Oculus Rift, HTC Vive, and Sony PlayStation, it also uses a motion tracking software. The motion tracking software works by having two base stations around the room, which sweeps the area with lasers. The lasers can detect the precise position of your head and the both hands based on the timing of the photocell sensor on both the headset and the controller. Finally, now comes the cost. There are many VR players in the market, and for example, the bigger ones are Sony PlayStation VR, HTC Vive, and Oculus Rift. These ones cost almost $350, $600, and $400. There's also Google Daydream View, which is a slightly better version of Google Cardboard. However, this alone costs $80. Finally, Samsung Gear VR costs $150. Meanwhile, our solution, which is only the Google Cardboard alone, costs $15. This is cost efficient and is affordable for many families around the world.
So to summarize the cost, our visitor identification system costs $50 to $60. Our daily pattern of life system costs $35 per sensor. Our quick message system costs $20 per button. And our Mind Cave system costs $15. So the total cost of our whole bundle for one sensor and one button is $120 to $130.
Thank you for listening to our presentation, and we hope this will help you. Thank you.